Hi guys, I'm Mr. Bo, and in today's Destiny video we're going to be taking a look at the Dark Below preview that Bungie put up on their site yesterday, and they have detailed a load of new changes that are coming that are going to change the way you ultimately play Destiny. And some of these are pretty cool, and some of these have had a lot of feedback already, and a lot of people are not really happy with some of these changes. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to run through all the changes here, and then after I've done that I'll give you my thoughts on the different things that we have. So to begin with, the Dark Below releases on December 9th, as we all know. That's next Tuesday, and there's going to be tons of content on my channel. When that's released, I'm going to be hopping on doing a live stream of that, and then throughout the day there'll be different pieces of content to do with the Dark Below. Now, this new content will expand the world of Destiny for some players. It will also change the experience of playing Destiny for all. To support the updates that will go live with the expansion, they have made some changes that will support the drive of the game, and I'm going to be listing through all of them here. So to begin with, new legendary gear. Existing legendary gear on display in the tower will be replaced. New legendary gear will feature higher attack and defense values. Legendary items will still require ascendant materials for upgrades though. This new, more powerful gear will be available to all Destiny players, so it doesn't matter if you're buying the expansion or not, this will all be here for you. And legendary gear will not be as powerful as new raid gear or exotics though, so raid gear is still going to be ahead of the normal legendary items like they are at the moment. They're also going to be introducing new rank commendations. So in addition to Crucible and Vanguard marks, purchasing new legendary items will require a Crucible or Vanguard commendation. Commendations are received in reputation reward packages delivered by the postmaster upon reaching a new reputation level. So every time you increase your rank with a Vanguard or either the Crucible, you'll get some commendation points. You have Crucible commendations. A commendation for your assistants can be redeemed for a powerful Crucible gear, and then you have Vanguard commendation. A commendation for your assistants can be redeemed for powerful Vanguard gear. We can then move on to the exotic talent changes. So as part of the December 1st update, which came out earlier this week, exotic armor and weapons no longer require ascendant materials for upgrades. The final power node of all exotic gear requires an exotic shard. In order to obtain an exotic shard, you can either dismantle unwanted exotics, or you can purchase it from Xur for 7 strange coins. Here's an image of the exotic shard. The description reads, "A remnant that almost seems to have a life of its own, can be used to unlock the full power of exotic gear." However, when the Dark Below drops, there's going to be some more changes. So, exotic gear in the Dark Below will have higher attack and defense values than the current exotic gear. For players and their current caches of exotics, a path will exist to bring them forward into the Dark Below. Starting December 9th, Xur will offer players the opportunity to upgrade exotics to higher attack and defense values. Upgrading an exotic in this way though will require an exotic shard, and the upgrade will reset progression invested into them. So that means all the upgrade and all the progressions of the trees will go back to 0. It's kind of like reforging an item, one of your Iron Banner items. However, this time when you do that, it will give you an extra node right at the end, which will increase the value of the attack and defense. And each week, Xur will possess a selection of upgrades for existing exotics in his inventory. So what I can gather from this is that he will have 12 items available which can be upgraded. So if you own one of those, you can then upgrade that item. However, if you don't, you're going to have to wait until he does stock that item for you to upgrade it. And those are all the changes that are coming to the exotic weapons. We can then move on to some of the Crucible or PvP changes. Firstly, Expansion 1 will include 2 new exclusive competitive playlists. It will also include new Crucible arenas, Pantheon, Skyshock and the Cauldron, and they will be featured in the map rotation. Playlists available in the Director will change week over week. Experiences will alternate between 12 and 6 player engagements, and the map rotation will alternate between focusing solely on new expansion arenas and including original launch maps in the mix. They're also going to be changing the heroic and the nightfall strikes. So in the Dark Below, the light level gets increased to 32. So heroics and nightfalls will be increased by 2 light levels to keep up with the new content, level increases and gear items. And they are the changes to the strikes. We can then finally move on to the raid Crota's End, and there are some changes coming to how the raid will operate after the feedback they got from the Vault of Glass. So the new raid Crota's End will unlock on December 9th for everyone. Players at a light level of 30 can lead a fire team in immediately upon release. The reward system in Crota's End will address some issues reported in the Vault of Glass. To begin with, raid loot in Crota's End will drop at a higher rate. New raid gear will contain wider variety of potential perks. Weapons and gear from Crota's End will not require Ascendant materials for upgrades, so instead Radiant Shards and Radiant Energy will be required to upgrade your raid gear, and the only way you're going to be able to get Radiant Shards and Radiant Energy is in the raid. So like in the Vault of Glass, whenever you got Ascendant materials, instead of getting Ascendant materials you're going to be getting Radiant materials. And unwanted weapons and gear from Crota's End will dismantle into Radiant materials as well. Finally, primary weapons will only drop in the harder version of Crota's End, released sometime in January. So I'm assuming that the hard version of the raid won't be available as soon as you complete it on normal. We're going to have to wait until January to actually get into the hard raid. And if you guys don't already know, and I will do a video on this separately later, the new raid on hard mode will be level 33. So that is one level above what we can actually get to in the Dark Below expansion. But as I said, I will do a video separately talking about that before the Dark Below actually launches. So Bungie then says, we are hopeful about the changes we're making to the way the raid loot works. We look forward to watching the streamers attempt to become the world first to complete the new raid. Good luck. And that is everything we get to see in this Dark Below preview. And now I'm going to quickly go over my thoughts about these changes and tell you about what some of the feedback has been already. To begin with, the new legendary gear. I like that they're adding new legendary gear, even if it is the same weapons, just that they have higher attack and defense values. That's going to be really awesome to go and buy. Also, the new rank commendations, it's making it a little bit harder to unlock those weapons. You're going to have to rank up your Crucible or Vanguard Master to then get these commendations, which then allows you to go and buy these weapons or maybe even armor. So it does make it a little bit more challenging to go and get those weapons, which I think is fine. Then we go over into the exotics, and I think this is where a lot of people are complaining. So as for the exotic shard, where you'll need one to upgrade the last node in an exotic weapon or armor, I really like this. To me, it actually makes it a lot easier to upgrade your exotic weapons and armor. I really like this change, and yeah, I'm happy with that. Some people aren't so happy with this, but for me personally, I think that's kind of cool that they've added this, and yeah, I'm happy with that. And then it goes on to the new way you're going to be able to upgrade your exotics. Now, it's pretty cool that you can upgrade your exotics so they're in line with the new exotics coming out. However, the thing that people aren't happy with is when you do upgrade your weapons, it resets the progression, meaning that all the time you've invested into upgrading your exotics just gets wiped. So you're going to have to start that all up again. For weapons like Galahorn or Truth rocket launchers that are a little bit harder to level up, and some of the LMGs, that's going to take a long time to level all the way back up so you can actually have that higher attack and defense value. So I think that's something that people are not really happy with, and it'll be interesting to see how Bungie responds to that, whether they're going to keep it like it is or maybe they will change that. We will have to see. As for the Crucible PvP changes, just adding some new competitive playlists is really cool. As for the heroic and Nightfall Strike changes, it's good that they're making everything sort of level up with the expansions, and I'm sure when the House of Wolf expansion comes and they maybe increase the level to 34, they will then increase the Nightfall Strikes and everything up with that, which is cool. And then finally, the raid changes. The way that they're addressing how loot drops at a higher rate now is good. The fact that raid gear will now have more potential perks, and that you have to upgrade raid gear with certain materials that you can only find in the raid, that's kind of cool. It might be a little bit harder to then upgrade your raid gear. And then finally, primary weapons will only drop in the harder version of Crota's End. That gives you more of a reason to go and play the hard version if you didn't want perhaps like the Vex Mythoclast in the Vault of Glass. That definitely gives you a reason to go and play the harder version. The harder version releasing sometime in January, I'm not too sure about that. I'd have preferred it being like it was before, just complete it on normal and it will unlock, but then it will give some time for people to actually complete it on normal and get up to the level where they can go and attempt the Crota's End raid on hard. So I can see why they have left that to launch until January. So those are my thoughts on these new changes that are going to be coming next week, and I think they were kind of cool. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Are you happy with all these changes? Is there anything that hasn't been addressed here that you would like to have seen changed? Or is there anything here that you don't want to be changed? Let me know in the comments below. I will read through them all. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to give the like button a big old hug. Subscribe for more Destiny content and coverage. If you guys missed my video yesterday in which I cover all the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 exclusive content you're going to be able to get your hands on with the Dark Below, that's a new strike and a new exotic weapon, you can click the link on screen or in the description below and that will take you over to that video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm Mr. Bo and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.